In today's video, we're gonna make something that sounds a little bit like this. A little bit chill, a little bit down tempo. I think one of the biggest problems for beginners is the rhythm. So we're really gonna focus on the rhythmic aspect. So hopefully by the end of this video, you're gonna have a much better understanding of how to create this style of music. Feel free to grab your DAWs. We're gonna use some free synthesizers. I've got some samples for you guys to download. And yeah, thank you for being here. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And let's go ahead and get straight into it. Hey, what's going on guys? Chris here from Signs of Life. Welcome back. And in today's video, we're gonna do a chill ambient / down tempo tutorial for beginners. So feel free to follow along in any other DAW of your choice. And in this video, we're gonna play in 103 beats per minute, and we'll play in F sharp / G flat minor. Now, normally when I start my videos, I always start with like a pad or an atmosphere, but I feel like setting a good solid rhythmic foundation is important for this style of track. So we're gonna start with the bass. So for this example, I'm gonna use Vital. So if you have Vital, you can go ahead and use that. If not, feel free to use any other synth that you do have. And in Vital, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch the filter down here to 24 dB. And I'll take envelope 2, okay? We have envelope 1, we're just gonna leave it as it is. But envelope 2, I'm gonna lower the sustain all the way down. And then I'm gonna lower the decay slightly. And I'll drag that envelope 2 handle right here. I'm gonna drag it all the way to the filter and then lower down into mount right here. So now we have a nice kind of plucky bass sound, as you can hear. All right, so we're off to a good start. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn on oscillator 2, and we're gonna switch the wavetable to basic shapes. And you can either leave it through going through filter 2, or you can put it straight through the effects. So now we have sort of a sine wave sub-oscillator. That's sounding good to me. Excellent. Okay, that's cool. Last step, we're going to take an LFO here and modulate the cutoff filter. So the way you do that is you're going to switch the mode here from trigger to sync, and we'll switch the tempo to 4/1 by dragging down here. And we'll drag LFO 1 over to our filter and drop it off right here. You can see that it's modulating the cutoff filter now. And when I play some bass notes, our bass note slightly opens up. Very good. Final touches here, you might want to add some voices of unison. So I'll go ahead and add 3 voices of unison to our sawtooth oscillator here. I'll lower down the detune to around 7%. And we'll go ahead and adjust the spread here down in the bottom right. That's looking good. You can adjust the position of your cutoff down here. And that's pretty much good. You could add some effects here, like a multi-band compressor. Let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna turn down the highs, turn down the lows and the band, just lower down the mix a little bit. We can turn up the lows a little bit there. There we go. Lower down the attack. Very nice. Add an equalizer here. Maybe just kind of brush up the mids here for a little bit. There we go. And we'll add a touch of reverb here on the end. So I'll go ahead and turn on the reverb, turn the time up, turn the size up, and turn the mix down to about 10%. There we go. Perfect. So now we got our bass, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to perform that bass line using my push. Now you could feel free to follow along with your keyboard, but what I'm gonna do is set a nice, simple bass line first, and then we're gonna go ahead and tweak it a little bit later. So I'm gonna turn on my metronome here, and I'll go ahead and hit session record. I'm gonna go ahead and play that bass line. Here we go. Perfect. Let's go ahead and turn off our metronome. All right, now I'm gonna get out of the way here so you guys can see this. Let's go ahead and tighten up our bass line. We'll switch our grid to 16th notes. I'll go ahead and extend this all the way out here. There we go. And what I wanna do is I actually want to add 2 notes here in between the B and the C sharp here. So I'll go ahead and select this note right here, this B note, And what I'm gonna do is just draw in another B right here. And then we'll draw in a D note right here. That'll work. And we'll back it up again. Let's go ahead and select all. We're going to quantize this. Perfect. So now we have our dialed in bass clip, if you will. That's gonna be the start of our track. So again, this was just a simple bass line I came up with using our patch and vital. You can go ahead and adjust your cutoff filter to taste if you like. There we go. And that sounds good to me. That's a good start. Okay, now let's go ahead and add a kick drum. I'll come back on the screen here for this. We'll rename this. Let's rename this bass line. Okay, and now let's add a kick drum. Now you can feel free to use your own samples here. I'm gonna use some of my own kick drum samples. So we'll go ahead and grab the kick rack here. And I'm gonna use drum rack. Again, if you're using a different DAW, go ahead and just use your own native drum plugin here. And what I'll do is I'll make a new 1-bar MIDI clip. And I'm actually gonna get out of the way for this one too, is I'm gonna keep it on 16th notes for the grid. And what I like to do is we're gonna do what's called the triple kick, okay? And the triple kick is a great way to get some easy rhythm in your track without using 4 on the floor. So I'll make one note that is 3 16th notes long, and then I'm gonna duplicate that 3 times, okay? Now listen to what this sounds like. So as you can hear, that's a nice punchy sounding kick, right? You can even add one more kick drum right here at the 1.3.3. Now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna add a snare drum here. And we're gonna add a snare drum on the 1-2 and the 1-4, okay? Feel free to use whatever method works for you here. So I'm gonna add a snare drum. I'll grab some snares from my collection. You can use your own here if you like. And what I'll do is I'm just gonna lay down a snare, any old snare, on the 1-2 and the 1-4, okay? And I'll show you how I'm gonna do this. So let's go ahead and play this when it comes back around. Okay, it sounds kind of loud, kind of rocky right now, right? But what we're gonna do is I like to transpose my snares. So that's just a normal snare drum sample. But if you transpose it, like at least an octave, you can also switch to classic mode here, lower down the sustain. Now we have a nice tight snare, right? So we transposed it by 13 semitones and then lower down the sustain. You can adjust the release to taste. That's much tighter, right? I like that. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about technique here. Normally I might use something like automaton on my snares. What you can do is you can actually lengthen out the clip here. We'll double the length, okay? And what you can do is you can actually switch to 132. Like this is a really tight grid, right? And because we have velocity to volume set over here, with the Ableton drum rack, what you can do is you can actually start dividing these up. So I'm gonna go ahead and divide these and then adjust the velocity here. And as you can see, it kind of fades out there with that velocity. You even add 2 over here. Maybe the second one is much quieter. And you hear now that this is why we added that second kick drum right here after the triple kick. Because it comes right after this 1-4. And sometimes the snare drum kind of fades out. This is kind of like a manual way to do the automaton thing, if you guys are familiar with some of the stuff I do on my channel, right? That's really nice. I like that. Cool. So I'm into that vibe. All right, I'll come back on camera here and you guys can kind of see now, like you don't always have to have a plugin to do this. You don't have to have like microfills or, replicant or anything like that. Even Infiltrator 2, like you can just do it right here, just manually. All right, let's go ahead and rename this. This is gonna be our kick and next is gonna be our snare. All right, perfect. All right, now let's add our hi-hats. Now, you can download these hi-hats on my website. So I'll leave the link down below in the description. I made 16 glitch percussion hi-hats for you guys, and they're free. You can just go to my website and download them. My gift to you. And so anyway, we're gonna use those. The first thing I'm gonna do is grab a drum rack. So let's go ahead and grab a drum rack here. I'll come into drum racks, drag it on here to a new track, and then I'll grab those samples. Now I've already added the folder to my library here, and we'll go ahead and drag all of those samples into a drum rack. Now we have all 16 samples in our drum rack, and what I like to do is I like to transpose my glitch percussion samples up like 2 or 3 octaves and then turn up the volume. Kind of gives us some nice volume. I'm gonna use my push for this. You can feel free to do this manually. So I'll just go through, up the gain a little bit here, go through and transpose every single one. You can hear that they're getting nice and snappy, right? So I'm just going through and transposing. Not exact science to this, but you can hear it sounds much better when you turn it up. There we go. And I'll do that for maybe like half of them or all of them. Give me some nice glitch perks. There we go. It's one of the secrets of making glitch percussion is you gotta have like nice tight samples, right? I have some tutorials on my channel about how to make samples like this. There we go, last one. Perfect, okay. Now let's go ahead and sequence these. So I'll go ahead and put this through the drum bus. Now what I'm gonna do is just make a 2-bar MIDI clip. Let's start with 1 bar. And you can go ahead and just kind of draw in some notes here. Again, this is a 16th note grid. So you can just spray these on here. It doesn't really have to be an exact science. And what I like to do is I'll go through here and maybe I'm going to chop up some of these, right? So I'll use Control 1 and 2 to divide my grid a little bit. So you can see that like now my grid has a 32nd note grid, right? And I'll go 1 more level. So I'll hit Control 1 again. Again, this could be Command on a Mac. And I'll add like 1 that's kind of divided into 4, so that's 64ths. And now you can go ahead and play this. Oh yeah, that's nice. Now, if you want even more variation, you can go ahead to the loop controls. Maybe we'll double the length here. And we'll do that again. So we'll come through 16th notes. Go ahead and spray on some more. There we go. Control, let's kind of zoom in here to the second half. Control 1 again. Divide some of these up. Oh yeah. Let's make one of these chopped up by 4. Perfect. Oh yeah, that sounds great. Fantastic. I like it. Okay, cool. So we're in business here. Now we got a nice glitchy kind of hi-hat style, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna grab microfills. Microfills is a preset using the beat repeat. I think this is both on standard and suite enabled to live. I'm just gonna grab microfills here and drop it on the end. And with microfills, I'll get out of the way here so you guys can see it. Microfills, what you can do is adjust the interval to a higher interval, something like 1/8. Adjust the offset, play with the grid if you want. Oh yeah, up the volume. There we go, that sounded real glitchy now. Perfect, so you can go out and play with this, you know, play with the chants. Nice. Last but not least, let's put on an auto pan. So I'll find it over here in the audio effects, drop it right here on the end. And we'll use an auto pan, we'll put it in random, which is the last option here. Turn up the amount and turn up the width all the way. And maybe we can adjust the rate here to 1/16. Ooh, might be nice to modulate the offset, huh? All right, let's try that. Let's grab an LFO here. We'll put it right after our auto pan. There we go. We'll switch the waveform to glider. Let's put that on 16th notes, rate of 16. There we go. Perfect. Forward on the depth, and we'll map that to the offset here. Oh yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Very nice. So now we're really getting some auto pen insanity here with glider and the LFO. I like that. Okay. Nice little glitch percussion tutorial there. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and rename this. This is our glitch perk. All right, now, last but not least, like I said, we're laying down the rhythmic foundation. So let's go ahead and add a sequence to this, and then we'll put in a pad. So we're kind of going in reverse now. We usually start with the pad and go that way. Now let's add a sequence, and then we'll end with a pad here. So let's go ahead and add a sequence here. I'll use Vital for this. Vital's a great synth for just pluck stuff. We're just gonna do a simple 4-note sequence, so you guys know how it goes. We're gonna leave this on sawtooth. Maybe we'll use a sine wave here, kind of like our bass. And we'll go ahead and put this on a 24 low pass filter. We'll make sure that this is also going through filter 1 just for some extra kind of sub oscillation, if you will. And what we'll do is we will lower down the sustain of envelope 1, okay? So our decay is around 1 second. We're gonna make envelope 2 have no sustain and lower the decay down to around half of that, okay? And we'll grab envelope 2 and drag it over once again to our cutoff slider here, okay? Lower down its amount. And we'll do the same thing with the LFO. We will go sync and put it on 8/1, okay? And drag LFO1 over to our filter. Excellent, okay. Now, if you don't have any outboard effects, you can obviously use Vital's effects, so I'll go ahead and turn on the compressor here, multi-band compressor, lower down the mix a little bit, lower down the attack. We're gonna use a delay here, so we'll use the ping pong delay, switch it to tempo dotted for each one. And finally, we'll add a reverb here, and we'll up the size, up the time, and lower down the mix here. Perfect, right around 30%. Okay, we're in business, go ahead and play this. That's what it sounds like. I mean, that sounds pretty good to me. Nice. Maybe we added too much reverb. We might have overcooked it. There we go. There we go. Lower your time value to around 10 seconds. That should be good. Okay, cool. All right, now let's go ahead and add a sequence here. Now you could either manually punch in a sequence or you could use Steppic for this. Let's go ahead and manually do it. What I'll do is I'll just switch this to 1/8 notes, okay? And I'm gonna come over here and just pick a note. There we go. All right, so that's F sharp number 2. All right, nice, 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 nice. Okay, we'll put this in scale mode. Perfect. So I just laid in some notes here. That's F sharp, A, B, and C sharp number 3. Wait till it comes back around. Very nice, very nice. Now, because we have a dotted 1/8 note delay here, ping pong, you can hear it's kind of like making notes in between the notes, which is kind of cool. I like the effect. You could either do that or you could go like this and just double it up. All right, we can do the same thing. There we go. I like that, I like that. So as you can see, I kind of changed it up the second time. Again, these are 1/8 notes, so I have it on a 1/8 note grid because I'm using a dotted 1/8 note delay. You get that beautiful kind of slap back. Love that stuff. All right. That was kind of a surprise there. I wasn't expecting to do a sequence, but that's cool. All right, I'm gonna rename this here sequence 1. There we go. And let's go ahead and add our pad now. Now I'm gonna use ZYKLØP for this. You can feel free to use any other synth you like, but I'm gonna use ZYKLØP. You guys know it, you guys love it. It's Miss Little Sister, the free synth from Dawsome. We're gonna add ZYKLØP on our track here. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and load up ZYKLØP. I'll switch the UI to big so you guys can see this. Go ahead and hit the init button right here in the top right-hand corner. Gives us a fresh patch. Right-click on the iris here in the middle, and we're gonna say resyn V2. Now the default sample we're gonna use is folded sine, okay? So we're gonna use folded sine here. It's gonna load it up, resynthesize it, and it's gonna sound something like this. It doesn't sound great at the beginning, right? Just sounds something like that, right? So I'll go ahead and up the octave here. Now what we're gonna do is we're really gonna spruce this up, if you will, right? We're gonna add a wave generator here. We're gonna adjust our ADSR. That's the first thing. Let's go ahead and add 3 seconds of attack here, 3 seconds of decay. Again, I'm on main ADSR here on the left-hand side. Let's go ahead and up our release here, adjust the slew amount. There we go. Okay, that sounds good. All right, very nice, very nice. All right, cool. Now let's go ahead and turn on the oscillator section here. We can start playing with this. Maybe we'll add some wave generation. We'll add a sawtooth, a little bit of detune, a little bit of spread here. Might have to lower the octave down, -1. Oh yeah, really nice. Excellent. Now you can add a little bit of these modifiers right here. This is the FM modifier. Subtle amount of FM, maybe some triangles, some purify. Oh yeah, excellent. All right, let's go ahead and add a filter here. So we're gonna add a multi-mode filter. We'll lower down the cutoff here, play it again. Oh yeah. Excellent. Oh yeah, that's really nice. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put an LFO on the cutoff right here. So this is the cutoff knob in the multi-mode filter. Let's come over to LFO 2 here on the left-hand side. We're gonna turn off retrig to make it free running, and we'll switch this to 4 bars, and then we'll put on sync, all right? So now we have a free running 4-bar LFO that we can do whatever we want with. Well, let's go ahead and use that on the filter here, and we'll go ahead and select the filter and then up the filter amount or the LFO amount. There we go, very nice. Excellent, maybe we'll up it a little more. That sounds good. We'll use that on the FM, just a little subtle amount on the FM. Oh yeah, excellent. All right, that's all without effects. Let's go ahead and add some effects now. I like this, I like it, sound good. Oh yeah, let's add a grains delay here at the beginning. Add a little glitter. Turn on the jitter. That sounds great. Let's go ahead and add a normal delay here. Put it on ping pong mode, sync it up. Put on dotted 8th note. Ooh, let's add some sweet, maybe to the end of the filter path here. Add a sweet right here. After the filter. And after the oscillator, I'm gonna put a gain knob. Get a little volume out of this thing. Finally, let's add a clouds reverb here on the end. Up the space, up the size, lower the earlies down, up the rush. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Right there. Oh yeah, that's it. Nailed it, nailed it. All right, I'm playing what's called a cluster chord. If you guys don't know what a cluster chord is, it's the first 3 notes in any given scale. In my case, it's the minor scale. So I'll go ahead and play this scale right here. You can see it's an F sharp 5, F sharp 6, G sharp 6, and A6. That's because I lowered it down an octave. So I'm gonna make a, let's say 8-bar MIDI clip. And we'll go ahead and make this fixed grid 8 bars. Hit the right arrow key. And finally, we'll restart our track. Let's hear what this sounds like. Oh yeah. That's vibes right there. Put that through the pad bus. Add a little bit more reverb. And there you go, right? Easy. This is a free synth, right? We did a little modulation here. Oh yeah, sounded great. So, like I said, it's all about building a rhythmic foundation. And once you can do that, I think your mind can start to expand, the possibilities start to get greater for you, and you know, anything is possible. It's all about building confidence in the DAW and confidence in what you're doing, and before you know it, you're gonna be that artist that you've always wanted to be. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, I am on Patreon. I do tutorials like this every single week. I do a 3-part series every month. We really dive deep into this style of music and sequence space ambient, drone ambient, I mean dark ambient. We go crazy over there on Patreon. We're building a wonderful community and I'm super excited about the future. So the link is down below in the description for that. And yeah, thank you for being a part of this community over here, and I truly appreciate your guys' support. So I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how it goes. And until our next video, take good care, you guys. And as always, keep your heads in the clouds and your feet planted firmly on the ground. My name is Chris from Signs of Life, and I'll see you guys in the next one.